Choosing a Planet Zoo park layout can be remarkably simple, but we tend to overcomplicate it. And there are 3 simple methods that will just save you so much time and frustration. Hey there and welcome back to the channel. Today I'll help you plan your Planet Zoo park species roster. So especially if you're contending with the build limit of Planet Zoo console or a less powerful PC, make sure to listen in, because there's some really valuable research here. Species choice and layout. How will you find a balance between flagship and lower profile animals? Historically, zoos kept things very straightforward, with rows of cages exhibiting their collections of primates, birds, big cats, just as if they were in a museum. So here's 3 modern day methods that will help decide which species and how to distribute them around your zoo in enclosure groupings. Number 1. Organising by taxonomy. It's relatively common for zoos. Have a think about areas for several big cats, a communal plane for hoofstock, a bird garden, or primate houses. From a visitor's perspective, it's beneficial to relate animals to each other by comparing them side by side. You can notice adaptations and differences as they've evolved. However, there may be a struggle for species to get attention and draw guests when next door to similar and bigger ticket animals. It may be a very cost-effective technique, with back-of-house areas suitable for the nearby groupings of similar animals. Security, heating and lighting requirements can all be local to the grouping of species and their needs. Number 2. Biogeographical layouts are super impactful. This involves dividing species by the area of the world that they live in. Here's a map showing all of the Planet Zoo animals by distribution. This one is as of the most recent Eurasia DLC in December 2023, but if you only have the standard edition base game, here's just those animals too. Each animal is placed roughly at the centre of its residence on Earth. Naturally, division by origin or inhabitants results in a spread of a range of high and low profile popularity animals. But there is a risk of there being less of an appetite for species from certain areas of the world that are not home to animals that guests are expecting to see. But this generally results in a more exciting and engaging area of the zoo, especially when trying to educate guests on concepts of conservation. It can be much easier to talk about conservation when relating it to a particular place rather than an individual species. Guests are less likely to skip a visit to the bird or reptile house as a whole attraction, for example. With this method, they should pay so much more attention. However, there is a certain flaw. Biogeographical thinking can result in the zoo turning down a certain species when they're available, in favour of maintaining a consistent collection and cohesion within areas of their zoo. From a conservation standpoint, this doesn't sound good at all, especially in favour of leaving an animal behind that only from the guest perspective would be the odd one out within a strict area theme. Number 3. Biotype theming compromises a little, with some flexibility towards the number of different habitat types found across the world, rather than in one location. One of the greatest studies around evolution is the case of Charles Darwin and the Galapagos Island finches. The finches that migrated to different islands were found to have traits specific to the island that they were located on. A few landed on one island, whether by human intervention such as by boat or land bridges, and on this island were more insects, and therefore their beaks became especially long so they could catch them easier. The other island had mostly thick, hardy seeds, and therefore the birds' beaks were shorter and thicker, better for crushing the exterior of the seeds. Now, biotype organisation is your chance to capitalise on the opportunity to educate visitors. You can easily teach guests about the conservation issues species will suffer from within their habitats, and also the adaptations of species to unexpected habitats. Okay, great, you've got a better idea of the concepts to be conscious of when building your zoo. Now apply your knowledge to this video, so you don't make the mistake of selecting the wrong first species for your zoo.